Hey, this is Tim from AK Endless Sports Cards, crossing the Mackinac Bridge on the way to the Upper Peninsula. The pre-national trip continues. Try to zoom in a little bit. That is Mackinac Island. So yeah, just crossing the bridge, heading to the UP. Alright, so the trip continues. I'm now in northern Michigan in a small town of Barbeau. I have friends that have a cabin on the St. Mary's River. And so I wanted to make another video today because I noticed that one topic that you don't see very often pertaining to sports cards deals with the budgeting aspect of being a collector. And so, disclaimer wise, so I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I giving financial advice, but I just thought I would kind of share some of my experiences in budgeting and collecting sports cards. So first things first, there's all kinds of theories out there in terms of how to establish budgets and how to determine the amounts of money that you can spend on hobbies like collecting cards. And so the one that I kind of ended up going with, and what I found to be successful in my situation, was I went ahead and did what's called a debt snowball. So with the debt snowball, you take all of your debts, smallest to largest, you make minimum payments on everything except the smallest, and you just kind of attack that and pay that off. And then you use the money that you had paid that small debt off to pay the next one up, so on and so forth. I found in my situation that was the most successful strategy to get debts paid off. Because one thing I could tell you is when you pay off all your debts, the exception of, let's say, if you have a mortgage or if you pay rent or something like that, it makes collecting cards so much more enjoyable. Suggestion wise, if you feel a degree of anxiety that comes along with collecting sports cards, like financial anxiety, probably be a good time to pump the brakes. If you're racking up credit card debts, things like that, it's not worth taking a fun hobby that you can really get a lot of enjoyment of and make it super stressful because you've got credit card debts, or it's taking up too much of your monthly income, whatever the case may be. So I went ahead and took that approach. I did the debt snowball, paid off all those debts, and like I said, when you have more margin at the end of the month, it's so much more enjoyable to collect sports cards when you just don't have those other debts. It just kind of takes the feeling of, I guess it's almost guilt, it takes the feeling of guilt away when you don't have those other debts and you can actually just spend the money. You have more disposable income to spend on cards and not have to worry about whether those cards go up or down in value in the short term. I've noticed that over the last year or two that I've just become a lot more selective with the things that I buy as well. So I like to buy retail wax. Sorry, there's some bugs out here. I like to buy some retail wax, and it's kind of gone in a cycle because in 1920 with Zion and John Morant, that was the first time when it started getting very difficult to buy retail wax. It's hard to find in stores. And then the year after, same thing, everybody was buying everything because it was COVID times. And now it's kind of done a 180 though, where you're starting to see a ton of retail again. But I have found that I'm really not that interested in buying it. The prices have gone up quite a bit. You know, I used to pay $40 for a mega box, Target, Walmart, etc. Now they're $55. Used to pay $20 for blasters. Now they're $35. Sometimes $30, but $30 to $35. So they've gone up quite a bit. So I've just kind of become more selective as well. So, you know, I've decided to put more money into singles, buy less of the retail wax. I've never been huge into wax to begin with, but I've kind of decided that retail wax, since it's gone up so much in price, I'm buying less of it. Wasn't big on this class. I do like Paulo Banchero, but outside of that, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the rookie class, Chet Holmgren, guys like that. So I'm kind of pumping the brakes on the retail wax for sure and focusing more on singles. You know, there's always the fear of missing out too that leads people to make some tough decisions when products first come out. For example, Victor Wembanyama has a card already in Bowman U, and it was a card I was really interested in getting, but you know, they were $300 right out of the gate, so I decided not to. Well, now it turns out that card's an SSP. Last I saw, going for like $400 or $500, and so now it's like, well, you got two options now. It's like, do you go ahead and bite the bullet and purchase one of those for like $500, or you just let it go and see if it's going to drop in value over time? That's the option I'm choosing. I'm not going to pay $500 for it. He may end up being a superstar. That card may go up big in the future, but may go down. We'll see. I'm not going to be in a rush to buy that card. So I've just noticed that I've just gotten a lot more selective with the things that I'm buying, and I'm not going to let that fear of missing out on something big lead me to make bad decisions and the types of stuff that I buy. So I'm kind of moving on from those types of things. Just a couple other quick things. So if you've got more margin in your budget, you've got more money that you can spend on cards, it also helps in terms of keeping you from making bad decisions in terms of trades. It's likely, if you've been collecting for a long time, that you've made some trades in the past that you regret. And one of the things I've been thinking about is I'm really, really careful now with trading anything that's rare. Stuff that would be hard to get back. I've really kind of taken the viewpoint now that if there's something that I really want to buy, I just save up to buy it instead of looking to trade stuff that's relatively hard to find to get it. It's part of that fear of missing out too. Sometimes we just get that feeling like, dang, I gotta have this card now, you know? This player is really hot and I really need to get a copy of that card. And then you end up, if you like to trade like I do anyway, you end up trading some stuff away to try to get it. And then like a month later, you're just like, oh, well, you kind of get tired of that card. It's kind of like that fear of missing out can be a powerful problem to have as a collector. And so I've just noticed that I'm trying to hang on to more of the rare stuff that I have. And if there's something I want to buy outside of that, just save up the money to buy it. Sorry, my audio kind of went out there a little bit. I was just saying that I'd rather just save up money to buy those cards instead of trading some things that I may regret later. One last thought. I've said this on this channel before, that I don't see sports cards as investments. Some people will disagree with that. But when you're looking at it from that lens, as just it being a hobby and not investments, I only put money into the hobby that I'm willing to lose. Sports cards go up and down in value. It can go up and down in value dramatically, as a matter of fact. And so I don't want the stress associated with collecting that I would have if I viewed them as investments. So in other words, as if I viewed something that I bought as, well, this card went down 20% this year, now I'm in financial trouble. Yeah, I don't want any part of that. That takes the fun out of the hobby. We all want to buy cards that go up in value, but from a collector's perspective, if I buy cards that drop in value, but they're things that I enjoy, so be it. It just makes collecting a lot less stressful, in my opinion. So, well, that's all I got for today. It's a beautiful day out. Going for a really nice walk. Very little traffic out here in the country. Remember that the opportunities for collecting sports cards are endless.